right, Duck Hunters, so let's talk about Trello, right? The free organizational beast. So guys, little backstory, right? It's kind of embarrassing, right? It took me years, a couple years before implementing Trello into my apartment locating real estate business. And man, I cannot express to you guys enough how important organization is.
It's really hard to believe sometimes we're gonna make it. Success, money, and power, all that, we're gonna get it. Don't try to be like us, it's better.
So Trello is basically the answer. Because guys, the problem was that I was still making over $10,000 a month as an apartment locator real estate agent by utilizing very basic standard methods, right? Like Craigslist posting, Facebook Marketplace, waiting for walk-ins to come in. But, finally when I gave Trello a shot to really try to, increase my level of organization, man, it made such a really, really big difference. So if you're a real estate agent and you have a lot of leads, really any amount of leads, Trello can be a giant asset for you. So let's get started in this video, and I'm gonna basically walk you through how I like to set up Trello. Okay guys, so just go to Google and do like Google Trello, or just go to Trello.com. And then sign in. Let's see here. Let me see if I can actually log out and show you like from the stage one exactly what it looks like to sign in. Okay, so go to Trello.com. You're going to hit the sign up button on the top right, and then just go through the prompts. It's kind of easy to sign up with Trello because you can just click the Google button, and then as long as you're signed in with Google, that'll be your account. So it's super easy. This is called a board, right? So boards are basically the category of what you want to use Trello for, right? And so if you notice on here, I use some boards here for different businesses I have, right? So there's like my Amazon FBA business is here, apartment locating is here, if I'm selling houses, it's here. And I like to separate things, right? So like I do like a to-do list, because you can actually get Trello on your mobile device as well. So you can use it with throughout many devices, and it's kind of really convenient. And then so if I have like vacation rental corporate clients, I have a separate board here, real estate company. So this is for like my Facebook ad agency, my SMMA business right here. And the thing is, I like to just separate these by businesses, my boards, right? So the first thing is getting your boards right. If you're end up doing this for apartment locating, because guys, that's what my channel is all about, is apartment locating within the real estate industry, right? Just because apartment locating, if you guys aren't familiar with this business within real estate, it's like the easiest way to make real estate commission by leveraging an active real estate license, right? So way easier than resale, way easier than selling new homes. I have naturally grown to love apartment locating just for how fast and simple and laid back I can make over $10,000 a month. So that's why I specialize in apartment locating. That's what this channel is all about. So let's click on this board here, and then let me show you the inside and show you how I like to use this, right? So let's pay attention here, guys, because when you get organized and you utilize the important tools, the important features inside of Trello, it will actually increase your closing ratio and increase the amount of money that you're going to make with the same amount of leads. Right, guys? So this is so valuable. If you're a real estate agent, if you're a realtor or an apartment locator, really pay attention, because you don't have to get more leads. You're just going to close the leads you already have more by utilizing Trello, because now you're organized and you're following up exactly right on time. So, the first thing you want to do here, these are called lists, right? You can create a list and title it whatever you want. And so within the list, we're going to make little note cards. These are called cards. So these are the lists that I have made, and you make them just right up here, right, guys, if you didn't see that. So this is what I do. I have a prospects follow-up list. This is stage one per se. And then I have the second one is like stage two. Like if I'm sending a client to an apartment, if they're coming in for an appointment, you guys know sending clients to apartments is the best way to work, right? Setting up in-office appointments is just not how you make a lot of money part-time. But just in case you're doing both, you can title it accordingly. And so then stage three is like they applied, but they're not yet approved. And then stage four is you lease them, right? So there's only like 4 stages of the life cycle of leasing if you're doing this for apartment locating, which is really exciting, right? Like, have you noticed we're not talking about setting up inspections like you would with like resale, right? We're not sending contracts back and forth like you would with traditional real estate. Like if you're a realtor, we're not doing any of that. We're not even having office appointments. So the idea, my point is that Apartment locating is an unbelievably easy way to make 6 figures a year working part-time. Anyhow, I also have a dead file list in case they didn't get approved, or sometimes like a client will ghost you and not talk to you anymore. And so if that happens, within the process, you just dead file them, or if they got denied and they don't want to work with you anymore, whatever the case is, right? If you didn't close them, you just dead file them. Right? So then I have a dead file right here. So guys, my closing ratio is 40% more or less with apartment locating. So that means after every 10 clients that I have a conversation with, I'm closing about 4 of those, right? But the cool thing is that I can have 10 calls and 10 conversations with apartment locating in a single day. So sometimes you can make $4,000 or over, especially if you're working downtown, in a single day with apartment locating, even if you have a 40% closing ratio or less. That's why it's very realistic to actually work part-time and earn over $10,000 net per month. So let's continue, guys. I have a dead file here. I can just delete this. Let me like not confuse anyone. So guys, let me walk you through the life cycle of how to utilize Trello, right? There's really only 2 critical tools that you're going to use. The first thing that happens is you got your first ad call because of your marketing. So someone called your cell phone, they're looking for an apartment. What do? You're going to go ahead and you're going to pull up your guest card, right? This is the guest card. This is how you pre-qualify them. So you go through this exactly how I teach you in the master class, and then you fill all this stuff out, right? So like you make your notes, fill all this out, so that way this is giving you the pre-qualifying criteria, and you're basically going to use this information to send them a list on your database after putting in the info and filtering on your database. So this is how the process goes. It's very, very easy, and the whole process of doing this, informing the client how it works, sending over the list, and putting everything in Trello, it's not going to take you more than 10 minutes, right? So it's like if you do this 10 times for 10 different people in 10 minutes, that's like 100 minutes of work. It's less than 2 hours, right? And you can make $4,000 or so if your closing ratio is 40% like mine is. So that's what you would do, right? You fill out the guest card digitally like this, and then what you do is you hold like your start menu, and then you just tap your start menu, and then like type in like snipping, like SNI, like the snipping tool. And then so what you can do here, guys, is you can just take a screenshot, right? Do new, and then you can just let's move this over a little bit, and then just take a screenshot of the guest card, right? So for the sake of this example, let's just do like example guest card. We'll just put this like on the desktop. All right, let's see here. So, hold control and then scroll out on your mouse, and that's how you make it like where it can fit. And then you just snippet the guest card, right? And so that's super easy. You go through the guest card, take a little snippet of it or a screenshot, and now let's continue, right? So let's say we have a new client. So his name is John Doe, right? So we're going to type in John Doe, add card. I like to put the name of the client right here, right? And then so with John Doe, so guys, all you do is you come down here, right? Under description, I like to write like the cell phone number, whatever his cell phone number is, right? And then I do this because I copy this and I paste it into Mighty Text whenever I text follow up, but I teach you that later. Basically a description of what they're looking for real quick, right? So then, phone number, and then let's say they told us on the guest card that they're interested in a 2-bedroom. So interested in 2-2, for $1,600, because that's what, that's how you filled out the guest card. So then I would just do that, right? So the phone number, interested in 2-2, $1,600, and then the move-in date would be like whatever his move-in date is, right? So this is how I utilize it. Let's just say it's 2019, even though it's 2020. Okay? And then so save. So these are just the 3 things I like to put on here basically. So guys, always attach the guest card under here, right? Under like activity, attach it using this. So this is where you attach the guest card. Don't use this attachment. Always use this attachment because you don't want to make it a cover. You just want to use this attachment so that way you can like click on it and actually see it. And so there's the guest card, right? Very easy. All right, so then, once you have the guest card uploaded, and it's very easy, right? So, you sent over a list to them because that's exactly what I train you to do after you pre-qualify them is you take the information on the guest card, you go to your database, send them a very quick list of no more than 15 apartments, and you tell them to get back to you, right? So guys, the second tool that you need to use, other than attaching the guest card under activity right here, the second thing you need to do is the due date, right? So your most valuable assets, guys, are going to be the attachment right here, because you're going to attach the guest card digitally, and you're going to utilize due dates. Due dates are unbelievably valuable, even though it seems like it's not a big deal. It's unbelievably valuable, and you will make more money if you're a real estate agent. So really pay attention, right? So let's say John Doe, we sent over a list, and then we're telling him, like I trained you, like, hey, let us know, get back to us as soon as you can on your top favorite 3 picks or so, and then we'll follow up with you tomorrow. So then you utilize your due date, and all you're going to do is, if it's Friday right now, no, it's actually the 2nd right now. So then, you would follow up tomorrow. So then go ahead and click on the 3rd. And if you want, you can set a time, but 12 p.m. is pretty good for now, right? So then you do the due date and the time that you want to follow up with them. So guys, get into a habit of doing this. So guys, I like to set the reminder 2 hours before, like the same day, right? Not a day before, because I just made it today. So do it like 2 hours before, you get a reminder, and click on save, right? So you see how it says due soon tomorrow? This is so valuable. I'm just going to keep on reiterating it, right? Because you're going to get so absolutely organized, it's going to be crazy. I'll show you what I mean here in a second. So those are your 2 biggest assets with Trello, right? It's actually not that hard. You fill out the guest card, you attach the guest card with an activity, boom, right here. And then once you're done with that, you utilize due dates. And if you do this every single day, because guys, let's say we have 10 phone calls, 10 John Does today. With apartment locating, it's very easy to make a lot of money, but the problem is that we deal, it's not like normal real estate, we deal with so many clients that it's impossible to remember where we are and how that client was, because when you're working so many people. And so you have to use a system to do the thinking and the reminding for you, right? And it's free, so you might as well use this. So by utilizing due dates, you're always going to be on time. That's why it's so cool. You set it up once, you get into the habit of doing this every time you get a call, and then you forget about it. And so, okay guys, so those are the 2 assets. Now, I'm going to follow up with him tomorrow on his options. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on activity, and I'm going to make a note of this, right? I'm going to say follow up with his favorite list options, right? So then that's all I would do. So then save, and then you can forget about it, right? Since you have a due date soon. And so now, just leave him here and follow up with him tomorrow. You can see the date here, January 3rd, right? So this is telling us this is due January 3rd. So we know it's not due today. Now tomorrow when we wake up, and let's say there's a bunch of these people, all with different dates, right? So tomorrow when we wake up, we look at all of the cards that have the date. So if tomorrow is January 3rd, the first thing we do is we boot up Trello like we normally do, and it's like, oh, this one says January 3rd. I forgot what's going on, but I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And it's like, oh, okay, so tomorrow it's today at 12. I wonder what I have to do for this person, and his phone number is right here. Oh, follow up with his favorite list options. Oh, well, that's easy. So then you call him, and then, you say, hi, John Doe, how are you? This is me from yesterday. Oh, I'm doing good. Did you get a chance to look at your list? Oh, yeah, I really liked these 3. These are the kinds of conversations that happen all the time, right, duck hunters? So you go, fantastic. Hey, let us set some appointments for you to go check them out, so that way you don't have to wait in line, or they can expect you. So what time works best for you? And he'll tell you whatever works for him, right? Because remember, guys, he's interested in leasing an apartment because he has to. It's not like we're selling them some product, right? So you're not going to get ignored. He's going to tell you, hey, I want to check this one out. I can check it out tomorrow. Or I can check it out actually on Monday. And you go, fantastic. So, hey, does 10 a.m. work for the first option, and then maybe we could do like 1 p.m. for the second apartment, and then we'll do 3 p.m. for the third one. Does that work? You're gonna have a full day of apartment, touring. And he goes, yeah, that works just fine. I always like to give 2 hours at least gap for his appointments. Now, I'm not gonna go with him for the appointment, obviously, because that would be a giant waste of time, and then I couldn't help other clients, right? So the whole point of making a lot of money with apartment locating is working remotely, so that way you can help more people, right? And also make more money and work efficiently yourself. So then I would go, that's fantastic, Mr. John Doe. I'm going to set those appointments up for you, and then I'll follow up with you after tomorrow, right? I'll follow up with you on Tuesday then. I'll give you a day to tour. And he's like, that sounds great to me. And then you can let him know, hey, whenever you make a selection, remember to list my name on the application, so that way the apartment pays me a referral fee and your base rent actually stays the same. And he goes, sure, buddy, no problem, I'll do that for you. So then you hang up. And it's that easy, right? Like, you're understanding, guys, apartment locating is not really a big deal at all, right? So people just respect you because you're helping them, making it more efficient, and it's not charging them anything, right? And so, we would make a note and we would say, like 10 a.m., like option, whatever the property is called, right? So then property name. And then you would do like, 12 or whatever we said, right? Like 1 p.m., the second property. And then you would do like 3 p.m. the third property, right? Going to tour. And I would say follow up a day after the tour date, right? So give him some time. Going to tour, follow up a day after the tour date. Great. Now do another due date, and then make it for Monday he's going to tour, so then we would do like Tuesday, right? But remember, guys, you're doing this for many, many clients. So once they all close, like by the end of the month, you're going to make tons of money. Okay? And so you would do like January 7th now, right? And then 2 hours before, and then save, and it's not completed. So then, uncheck that. So then the next due date is January 7th, right? Because that's when you're gonna call them again. So then now you can forget about this client, and then you can move on to the next client, however many other ones you have. So you see how this one says January 7th with no color? That's because it's taken a few days. So it'll turn yellow when it's like under 24 hours, like you have to do something, right? So then let's say, we just did this for like 10 clients, right? And then the next, so you're working with lots of clients, right, guys? So you're understanding how valuable this is. All right, guys, so now that you utilize that, you change the due date, you're going to actually you're going to grab the card and drag and drop it here because you're sending him to an apartment, right? So you know that he's in the second stage of the process, right? And so, guys, come January 7th, this is going to be yellow. And you're gonna wake up on January 7th, boot up Trello, and go, oh crap, something's happening. It's yellow. I forgot all about this client. I wonder what's going on today, right? So you click on it and you go, what do I do? And you're like, look, you have a note, right? And it's like 10 a.m. option, property name, 1 p.m. Oh, okay, I sent him on tour. Oh, that's what I did. Follow up a day after the tour date. Oh, okay, fantastic. So now you remember what to do. So then you call, and you have the property names right here. So then you call him right on the January 7th, and you go, hey, Mr. John Doe, how are you? And it's like, hey, how did this property go? How did the tour go on Monday? And he goes, oh, you know what? I actually just visited, I applied at the second one that I toured. This happens all the time. I get these conversations all the time, guys. You send him over to 3, but he applied at the second one he toured because he fell in love with it. So he's like, yeah, I didn't even tour the third one. I just applied at the second one. And you're like, well, fantastic. So then the next thing you do is, hey, Mr. John Doe, can you tell me what your apartment number is? And your move-in date? And he goes, oh yeah, I'm actually moving in like a week, right? And so all you do is now you're taking notes so you can invoice properly later on your database. You type in the property that he leased at, right? So property 1, and then it's like, oh, what's your apartment number, Mr. John Doe? And he's like, oh, it's apartment number 234. Fantastic. And you said you're moving in on the 14th? Yep, I'm moving in on the 14th. So it's like, great, 1/14/2020, right? And then you ask him, what was your base rent amount? And he goes, well, they had a good deal on the 2-bedroom. It's actually $1,500. So you're like, great, it's $1,500. And that's your commission, by the way, guys, if they're paying 100%, which most of them do, especially if they're Class A. Right? And so you've got the property name, the apartment number, the move-in date, and the base rent. So that's all you need for invoicing. So you save that, and then you ask him, were you approved? He goes, well, I didn't get the official approval, but they told me it takes up to 48 hours, right? So you're like, oh, that's fantastic. No problem. Thank you for the information, and I'm glad I could help you. Wasn't that really efficient? And he goes, yeah, you made it really efficient. And he's going to tell you he appreciates it. And then you go, you're welcome, Mr. John Doe. I'll call you next year and help you again. And he goes, sure thing, thank you, right? Because he's not paying you. So people are usually all the time very friendly with apartment locating, right? Because you're just doing them a favor, right? The building is the one that pays you, but they're super happy as well because you're bringing them over a tenant that got approved, and they didn't have to spend advertising money to acquire that tenant. They just pay you 1 month out of the 12-month contract, of course, because it's super profitable for them, right? Because they're getting the lease. They don't have to spend big budgets on advertising campaigns online and then wait to get tenants. We're just bringing it to them. So it's a win-win-win for everyone. Anyways, guys, so once you have all the property information, but really you need to change the move-in date, and we're going to give him another 24 hours before we call the property to see if he's approved. So we're going to hit save, uncheck mark that, and then we're going to say call property and check if approved, right? So that's what we're going to do. So that you see how easy this is? You're making little notes as you're progressing, but Trello helps you keep everything unbelievably organized so you can forget and still just pay attention to your due date and never actually be late. And your communication skills and your timing are just so professional now because of this free tool. So really that's it, right? So now that we changed all of that, we took a little note on what we need to do tomorrow, we grabbed the card, and then we put them to applied, not approved yet. You see, so these are the little stages that is going on, right? So this is like the preliminaries. So let's say tomorrow we wake up and it's like, oh crap, this one, it's yellow. It says January 8th. What do? I forgot about this client because I'm working with like 20 other people. Then you click on him and you go, what do? Call property and check if approved. Oh, fantastic. I hope this guy got approved. So then you call the property. Hey, hey, property leasing agent. This is me from my company. I'm wondering if John Doe was approved for unit number 234 for the January 14th move-in date. Oh, he was approved. Well, fantastic. I'll send over an invoice. Thank you so much. So that's all it takes, right? So then you go approved. And pay attention to this, guys. This is critical. I like to give a summary after, if he's approved or denied, I like to take a note of that, but I like to do a summary on the kind of client and the kind of experience that I had, that through the whole life cycle, because once you have tons of leases, it's nice to go through them and have a little summary on exactly the kind of client he was and if it was a seamless process, because then you can reflect on all your leases and go, wow, I'm leasing people. Let me give you an example. When I started doing this, let's say John Doe was very pleasant. I would take a note just like this. I would say very pleasant man to work with, whatever his situation was. Single with one daughter, who knows, right? Single with one daughter, very polite, and did not call me a lot at all. Very seamless. And these are the best kinds of clients, especially if they're very qualified, right? And so I would do a little summary, and guys, I'm telling you, do this every time. It takes you like 1 second, but it's very valuable for you to understand your own business practices, right? So very pleasant man to work with, single with one daughter, very polite, and did not call me a lot at all. Very seamless. So save, and then that's it. So then check mark that, and you're done now. There's no more other stages. So you grab him and then you put him to leased. So you just leased the John Doe and you made $1,500 in commission. So then you go to the database and you take this information that we just put in here, and then you send over an invoice, and then your broker collects for you, right? So that's why I like apartment locating, guys. I don't if you guys are realtors or you work in different niches within real estate, apartment locating is so unbelievably straightforward. There aren't many life cycle stages. And we're not selling people anything. It's way more laid back. These people have to rent an apartment. So with or without you, they're going to rent an apartment. So as long as you're competent and very polite, there's absolutely no reason people won't work with you and make you $1,000 or $2,000 commission, especially if it's downtown. Very, very fast and seamless. Right, guys? So then you lease them, right? And that's basically it. And so now, if you click on all of these, right, that you've leased, let's say, and then you go through the summary, sometimes, let's say he was like really hard to work with and he wasn't qualified or something, you could make another note, and then the summary would be like very hard to deal with, called me so much, was annoying, and had a broken lease, right? And so like if you close them, you're still going to make money, but it's nice to reflect and go, wow, like I closed, because what happened to me in my particular situation is when I reviewed all my notes, guys, I was realizing that very qualified and polite clients actually made me more money quicker. So I made more money off of very qualified clients that were polite and faster. So that's what allowed me to work part-time and earn a really big income without working that hard, because qualified people that are polite are just so easy to lease an apartment to. And so personally, that's why I don't work with unqualified clients that have a broken lease or a felony or low credit. I just refer them to someone else and get a referral fee as long as it's legal in your market. Right, guys? So, it's important to make little notes, and every market's different, but when you do these notes and you lease dozens and dozens of people, you'll understand the kinds of clients that are making you the most amount of money, and that's the kind of clients you should focus on. So like, for instance, if you're like a native Spanish speaker and you see that you're making tons of money running Spanish ads, leasing Spanish people, maybe you focus on doing more Spanish ads. If you're like had the same data that I had and I was making really fast commission and seamless part-time with qualified people, that's why I work with qualified clients. So it's important to have a little summary, but that's how you utilize Trello for apartment locating. And it's the same thing with real estate. Like if you're a realtor, just come up with what you think the little life cycle stages are. Maybe it's like prospect. Maybe it's coming in for an appointment. Maybe it's we had an appointment where we're showing these houses to them. And then maybe it's like, showed the houses to them. We're doing like an inspection now and going over details like HOA, etc. And maybe it's like closing, or a contingency stage. Like, okay, there's a contingency stage here. Like they haven't sold their home yet. Whatever for realtors, whatever you guys want to decide is a good list and a life cycle stage. And it's like, okay, great. Like contingency is finished. There's no more contingencies. Now we're going to closing. Whatever it is. Maybe it's like negotiation, right? Like contracts going back and forth if you're a realtor and you guys are negotiating. Whatever you guys want to decide. But it's easy to be able to just drag clients over and over and over and then utilize the due date feature, which is unbelievably valuable because you can just wake up, forget about all the clients, like a lazy person. Like, I'm pretty lazy, but I leverage these tools so it seems like, I'm still competent even though I'm not trying that hard because I'm using software systems to do all the heavy lifting for me. So I just wake up and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And then I just go through my list and it's like, oh crap, I got things to do. It says January 8th, like it's January 8th. And I go, what is this client? And I go, oh, okay, cool. I need to call the property and check if approved. Cool. You see, so guys, this is how you can work stress-free, lower your stress, and be way more organized and close more and make more money like a real estate duck hunter. So guys, I hope you appreciated this video for Trello, and let's get on to the next.